Don't get me wrong, I'd knock a woman out.
Yeah, because there was no option to hand your children
no.
over to someone
was
else,
normal.
was there? There was no option for women to go to work because you had
Correct.
children and someone had to look after them.
Because now she's obviously in the face of like the social media world, and she's boxing and she's doing something else. But obviously that, and then put a poll up, and people are like, "You're pro-Trump." I'm like, "What are you on about?" No.
This was on a podcast.
Shut
I don't know
up.
if that's real or not, but that's what
Shut
she
up.
said on a podcast.
No, man.
It's gross.
Kimmy, that has to be clickbait.
It says she hopes to earn around £500,000 from the videos and requested virgins and fresh 18-year-olds.
Discuss it. Could I abuse somebody emotionally and physically?
I don't think anybody should stand for being hit by anybody. I don't think anyone
agree.
should stand for
I
that.
fully agree. I literally couldn't agree more. But at that time, it was normal, wasn't it?
I don't think women were women like they are now back then either.
Get this off my chest.
Tell me everything.
I can keep a secret.
Hello and welcome to episode 53 of the Confessional
Professional podcast.
the Confessional podcast. But that's because I was trying it. I was thinking in my head, be professional, be professional.
Who are you talking?
I'm Kimmi K.
And who am
He's Rick.
And,
And the other one is Mikey McMikeface.
Right, there we go. Welcome to episode 53. As we can tell, it's going to be a fucking shit show, so strap in.
Fuck's sake.
And,
I was thinking in my head, be professional, be professional.
welcome to the Professional podcast. That sounds quite cool, though, doesn't it? I like that.
Not bad.
Controversial conversation. Well, it's not actually that controversial,
let's
but it
go.
can be. It can be controversial depending on people's opinions. So my sister came home and she's doing sociology at school. She's really enjoying it because obviously it brings up topics and debates, and obviously quite.
I did sociology at school.
Anyway, she came home and she was like, "Oh, I really enjoyed sociology today." And I was like, "What did you learn about? Or what did you talk about?" And she was like, "Feminism." So, and I was like, "Okay, so what did you learn today?" And she kind of went into, the very the very kind of general things, gender pay gap and women's rights, and women couldn't do certain things, obviously, up until 20, 30 years ago. And, they weren't allowed to have a say. They weren't allowed to have a bank account. They weren't allowed to blah, 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 blah. Not blah, blah, blah. I'm not disregarding it. Obviously it happened and it's terrible. And she was like, "Yeah, men are cunts, aren't they?" Right. So obviously I got my back up and I was like, no. I was like, what happened in the past at the time was in that time normal because people didn't know any different. I'm not saying it was right. At that time, it was normal and everyone just put up with it. Regardless whether it's right or wrong now, that's what was happening then. And in some people's eyes, they were like, okay, this is it. This is us. And I was like, but now, I was like, there isn't that now. There's probably 1% of the Western fucking world that still think like that. And I appreciate there are still parts of the world where it's terrible, terrible situations and circumstances for women. But we won't go into that because I don't want to get fucking killed by the Al Qaeda. So,
Fucking hell.
so
Fuck.
I was like, but you can't generalize and tarnish all men now for what previously happened. I was like, so not all men are cunts. I was like, I don't treat women like that, and I never would. And I was like, and I will not raise my sons to treat women like that. And I was like, I don't know anybody in my social circle or people I've spoken to who would treat women like that and expect them to do X, Y, and Z. I was like, so yes, back then men were cunts. However, it was normal. And it's a really hard thing to kind of try and put across, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without saying that I agree with it, because I don't agree with it. I really don't agree with it. But at that time, it was normal, wasn't it?
I don't think women were women like they are now back then either. I
Of
think
course not. And neither were
the
men.
women gender was a lot weaker then than women are now.
Agreed.
Like we've got a bit of a backbone now and we stand up for ourselves.
It's great because women have a voice now, which is important.
And like women like are stronger now as well. We train and stuff like, whereas women didn't used to do that before.
No.
It used to
Well,
be
they weren't allowed,
just
were
stay
they?
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to Rick's point, if you go back 100, 150 years, both genders didn't know any better.
No.
They didn't.
So the status quo was
You're a breed.
breadwinner.
You breed and bring up the children.
Yeah, because there was no option to hand your children over to someone else,
normal.
was there? There was no option for women to go to work because you had children.
Yeah, and there
someone had to
there
look after
wasn't
them.
sort of like infrastructure in place to
The
support.
good old days, eh? No, I'm joking. I'm utterly joking. I am
No.
utterly joking.
So there wasn't infrastructure in place back then to support a mother.
But isn't it crazy that we're still in we're in the 21st century, and there's still parts of the world that live like that.
Yeah, mate, there's European countries where it's still like that. Russia's probably still a lot like that, like very sort of old
Man is man,
school.
woman is woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting,
There is
isn't it?
definitely
But
differences
I
between men and women, and I think that's okay. I think it's actually all right. We don't all have to be fully equal.
it enrages me when people go, men can do everything women can do, and women can do everything men can do. That's utter nonsense. It's just factually not true. It's just
We're
not
just
true.
wired differently.
Correct. We
Yeah.
are 100% wired differently. And for a man to say, well, I know how a woman thinks, well, you don't. I apologize. And I'll stand firmly on this. You don't, because their biology is completely different and their hormones and everything in their DNA is completely different to a male's DNA. So you
Yeah.
don't know how a woman feels and thinks. We
And
just
and
don't.
the lived experience off the back of that.
Well, that was Kimmy's phone. Did you hear that? Did you hear Kimmy's phone interrupt us again? Did you hear
Shut
that?
the
These
I did.
fuck up.
These fucking women with their phones,
Honestly,
honestly.
mate, they shouldn't be allowed them, should they? Honestly. Fuck's sake. No, I'm joking. No. Yeah, mate, it's just an interesting topic, isn't it? It's a really interesting... Because don't get me wrong, you have extreme feminists who just hate all men, and they're like, all men are the devil. And they're obviously just extreme. And that's just not true, because there are some very good men in the world, but there are also some very good women in the
I
world.
don't think men wouldn't be able to function in a society without
Correct.
women, and women wouldn't be able to function without men in a society.
Also
That's...
correct.
But there are some cunty men out there, because I've watched some fucking awful videos today.
Oh, some horrible men out there, and I'll agree with
But
that.
yeah.
But there's also some fucking pussy men out there that are fucking no better than a piece of fucking shit, like a little wet blanket, aren't?
Do you know why men get a bad rap though? So this woman was a reporter, and she was pretending to be drunk on a beach to see what would happen. And this guy came over to her, recognised that she was really drunk, asked her for a kiss. She said no. He went off and got two of his friends and told two of his friends that this woman was drunk and they were going to take her and take advantage of her.
Fucking hell.
And she had to call her security because she was actually scared. But I think men get a bad rap because they are heavier and stronger than women, and when they take advantage of that, it's shown to the public like this is what men are capable of. Where women are like not really capable of. They are. Some of them obviously are, but
Yeah,
most of them are
there's
not
some
capable
fucking
of doing
cannons
that
out
kind
there,
of thing.
Kimmy. Like, there's some big mamas.
Well, actually, I watched a documentary literally this week that kind of showcases the rarer side of things, where the woman was the abuser, and we if we're talking about equality of opportunities and
I
everything
It
think
else,
obviously happens. It's a lot. It's
it
like a lot.
happens, but I think it's so rare compared to how often it happens to women on a daily basis.
yeah, I don't doubt it. It might be more common than we think, or
Yeah,
1
I
million
might get
percent.
laughed off actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
no, it would.
if a man
It would.
complains about a woman
think it'd be
abusing her,
terrible.
they'll just be like, "What are you fucking talking about?"
No,
Which
you're
is
right.
actually really, really stupid.
Yeah, it's sad.
it started off with these as sort of microaggressions, and then he would put it down as like, oh, she's just having a bad day, and then she would be all lovey dovey afterwards, and he would think, oh, she's not going to do that again, and then it just escalated and escalated, and
That's
he
a
probably
narcissist, isn't it? Yeah.
he probably didn't speak up about it because he didn't think anyone would take it seriously or believe that it was
Yeah.
happening.
I have a question. Was he like how do I put this politely? Was he a bit of a wetter?
Yeah, I think that's what people assume, though, isn't it? That this man must have been weak because he was getting abused by a woman.
Yeah, but
I
I think that's, for example, I'm quite I wouldn't say I'm an alpha male and I'm dominant. I'm not in any respect. I'm very happy to let somebody be alpha. However, I don't like the dynamic of a woman being alpha if we were in a relationship. So in that respect,
I think
it wouldn't.
I think it's very easy to assume that, but if you've ever been in any kind of abuse, if it's mental abuse, you have already been put in that position to be abused physically. You don't feel like you can fight back. It doesn't matter how big you are, how loud you are.
I agree.
And it could be like an incremental thing that starts off like
like-
in terms of like
Yeah.
emotional abuse, and basically she was being like, it was emotional abuse, it was coercive behavior, and it was physical abuse. She would hit him around the head with like a wine bottle. He had like a cauliflower ear from getting clocked with this wine bottle, and then literally the same day or the day after, she would hit him with the wine bottle in the same ear again. So like it was
Mad.
really heavy.
There is like a thing where people say, "Oh, why don't you just stick up for yourself or just hit her back or whatever?"
Impossible.
That's when things go wrong. That's when she goes to the police and says he's abusing
That's
me,
right.
and 9 times out of 10 they will believe her because
Oh,
she's the woman.
There's a moment when she does just that. She gets arrested, but they, rather than go straight in, they go, "Tell us what's been going on." And she basically flips the script and says that he's been doing all this stuff to her.
Yeah.
Real calm and collected, like, as well. Like, even the police was like,
it's really
"She's
sad,
good."
mate. Like, I was listening to LBC last week, and they did like a bit on this, basically, of women who'd been manipulated and obviously abused physically, mentally, and they were calling in and kind of telling their stories, and it's fucking wild, mate. And I appreciate it's very relevant. It probably has been very relevant for forever. But the great thing now is, like we've literally just spoken about, the women actually have a fucking voice, and there is a platform where they can show this and share this, and people will be punished for it, and hopefully, if they're confident enough, they can talk about it, share about it, so that it can prevent it from happening to someone else. Because it's fucking wild, isn't it? Like it's not even in my thought process, so I can't even process the thoughts on how I do it to a woman. I just can't do it because it's not in my DNA, right? So to hear it, and it sounds weird, but to hear it in my head, I'm like, fucking hell, could I do that? Could I do that? And I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't do it. There is no, don't get me wrong, I'd knock a woman out if she was gonna fucking hurt me, and I mean like really hurt me to the point where it's gonna hospitalize me. She's getting a fucking big old broken fucking face, I promise you. Could I abuse somebody emotionally and physically?
I don't think anybody
No.
should stand for being hit by
No.
anybody. I don't think
I
anyone should
agree.
stand for
I
that.
fully agree. I literally couldn't agree more. Men shouldn't hit women, and women shouldn't hit men. It's as simple as, unless it's a fucking sport and you're getting paid to do it professionally, stop it. Like, just stop it. It's a very sad situation, isn't it? It's catastrophic, mate, because it's still happening. It's so relevant even to this day, and it's sad. It's fucked.
So I've got a situation for you that I'd like your input on. So this is a real story, but I'll just twist it just a little bit just so you understand. So there's this creator, and they have made it their mission to sleep with every student virgin and take their virginity.
I know exactly who you're on about.
And people queue up for like 8 hours to sleep with them.
Weird, right?
Now, if this was a man, what would be happening?
Oh,
It's a woman. It's a woman that's doing it.
I know exactly who you're on it. Are we allowed to say the name?
I don't want to say her name because I don't want to give her the airtime, to be honest, because I think it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
I think she needs to go to prison. I think she needs a hard drive check-in.
I think
it's gross.
It's a pretty wild thing to do, considering if you flipped that. Imagine if I said, well, imagine if I thought that much of myself that I went, I'm willing to fuck every female virgin there is at a certain university. So if you would like to do that, come and queue up, and I'll fuck you.
She literally goes to each university and like somewhere around there, and she will message and say, I'm here, if you want to come and fuck me, this is where I'll be.
And is she filming all of it?
I don't know if she films it. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Is she actually doing it?
Well, people have said she is. People have done it with her.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? If somebody's doing that, that's fucked up, man. Like,
It's weird.
It's a very odd situation. It's very odd, and that's definitely female privilege in that respect, 100%. Because a man just wouldn't be able to do that. There would be.
And what is she doing? Is she checking their ID to make sure they're over the age? Because it's just gross.
It's pretty wild. That's a pretty wild situation. I've seen a few skits on social media about it, and I didn't really know what it was until you've just mentioned it, and then obviously I've put 2 and 2 together. But obviously the skits I've seen are like comedy ones. But yeah,
I just think, right, my son's 15. He'll be going to college next year. It gives me the creeps. I'd lynch her. I would lynch her if he went and queued up for that. It just makes me so angry.
It's a pretty bizarre thing.
It's weird.
It's a very.
And if it was a dude, it would not be allowed. He would literally be locked up.
Well, he'd get beat up immediately. He'd get beaten up.
Would.
Another man would come up and be like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" and basically fight them. Like that would immediately happen. And then fathers of those daughters would then come up to that man and start beating them and hurt them physically. Isn't it interesting how people treat male and female when it comes to sex? It's a really interesting dynamic, isn't it? Like when probably men think about their sons getting laid, they're probably like, "Wait, go on, son, fucking ram it in her." But then you flip it, and obviously a boy's coming round to have sex with your daughter. You're like, "You touch her, I'm gonna fucking cut your feet off. Like, you're gonna go home on stumps, you cunt." Do you know what I mean? It's a really interesting dynamic, isn't it? And I think that everyone should just, one, have respect for fucking both genders in that respect, and they should be taught, obviously, safe sex. They should be taught it needs to be done in a safe environment, that they know the person. I'm not saying you have to be in love. My first person, I wasn't in love. I wasn't, but I did know the person. It was in a safe space, and it was in an environment that we could both control and we both felt comfortable in. And that was taught to me by my mum. My mum told me to do that and make sure that that setting was in place so that everybody was in, obviously the situation was comfortable. It's really interesting that
I just hope it is rage bait and it's not real. She's just doing it to get people talking and to get people raging. But yeah, from what I've seen, it looks pretty convincing.
some people do some pretty wild things for rage bait, though, don't they?
Yes,
Like
they
there's some creators out there doing some pretty insane things for rage bait, and they're not even doing it. They're just saying it, and obviously it makes people enraged. Like I could say, yes, Trump's amazing. I don't think it, but for rage bait, I mean, I just shared a thing on Trump today on my Instagram, and I had probably the most DMs I've ever had in my life in a day on my Instagram, ever, literally ever.
Yeah,
It was
insane.
I couldn't keep up with it, and some people are fucking ruthless, mate. Some people are like, you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which way you sway on that, you're gonna get
fucking
backlash.
cunt, you absolute fuck.
They're really passionate. It's not like here, is it? People are seriously passionate about it.
Rapist, Hitler 2.0. I'm like, bro, I didn't even say I fucking want to suck Trump's dick, mate. All I said was, Trump's the next president. Are you happy with this decision? Yes or no? And then put a poll up. And people are like, you're pro-Trump. I'm like, what are you on about? Like, you need to fucking chill out, mate. Honestly. Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish in America. It's different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are falling out hard. Like, lifelong friends are falling out because someone voted for Kamala Harris and over Trump. Like, mate, in 4 years, some other cunt's going to come in, relax, stay friends with your fucking bestie, and just let the big dicks do what they want to fucking do because they're going to do it anyway. You've gone and voted. You've had your input, which probably meant absolutely fuck all because they're going to do what they want anyway, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like, it's not worth falling out with your friends and family over. That's my opinion. Hopefully it's rage bait. I hope you're right. I do hope that's rage bait. Because I think that's if anything, that's not safe, is it? It's not safe.
It's just gross, in my opinion.
And not safe for either of the parties.
Predator.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that makes her a predator. I don't know about.
No, it does. It does. Going after young boys is weird. I'm sorry. If it was a man going after young girls, he would be called a predator.
I don't know the age of the woman, but you're right. It probably doesn't. It's not even necessary, is it?
I can't remember how old she is. To be honest, she's a lot older than teenager anyway.
And if you're talking about like university lads, we're talking about 18-year-olds, and
19,
maybe
20.
she's mid-20s. If she's a,
I think it's from college.
No,
I'm pretty
it can't
sure
be.
it's
No,
college.
because the legal age is 18, so it can't be from college.
16.
No, the legal age is 18.
16.
I'm fairly certain it's 18.
I'm sure.
Sex?
Text me, Bigfoot.
Mikey, the editor.
I'm pretty sure the age of consent
What
is
is the
16.
legal age?
Yeah, 16 years old, the age of consent and marriage in the UK.
Jesus, I thought it was 18.
I'll just read you
Wild, mate.
this first sentence.
Go on.
Adult star who slept with more than 100 university students and 3 granddads during 2 weekend sex marathons say parents should be thanking her.
Thanking her?
Yeah.
No, that's rage bait. It has to be. That has to be clickbait.
She's fucking gross.
That has
It's
to be
gross.
clickbait. Kimmy, that has to be clickbait.
It says she hopes to earn around £500,000 from the videos and requested virgins and fresh 18-year-olds.
That's fucked.
Gross. It's gross.
Why is that not? That's ludicrous.
It's disgusting.
What's annoying about this?
Their lives are going to be fucked. I know I make them kind of videos, but I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm 35 years old. These are kids that want to get their end wet, and they're going to end up on the internet at some point because this woman...
What's annoying about it is boys will be boys, and they're going to be like, I will if you will. and the other one's going to be
Yeah.
like, let's do it, fuck it. And then and it's
And
quite
then if you
literally
don't,
gonna
you
be
get
that.
called a pussy.
Yeah. Like, so then your peer pressure kind of kicks in,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I appreciate, you know, that shouldn't be relevant, and obviously peer pressure is just stupid. But, you know, in the world of a fucking 16, 17, 18-year-old, you know, peer pressure's key, and you don't want to upset your mates, and you don't want to look a dickhead or a pussy or whatever.
It's gonna
So,
ruin
yeah.
lives. It really is.
I don't know if it's going to ruin lives, but
Oh God, it
it's
will.
gonna leave a mark. It's definitely gonna leave a fucking mark.
They would have had to sign releases, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they would have had
Yeah,
to.
you have to for OnlyFans. Basically, if you're making content with somebody, both parties have to sign a form, obviously, for it to be put onto OnlyFans.
You can pull consent at any point, though. Even if you sign a form, you can say, "I don't want to do that anymore."
And the video
Or
would have to be pulled down.
It depends. It would probably be a legal battle, to be honest, if she really didn't want to take it down. But
Morally, just take it down. Don't make a cunt about that.
But I presume if it's like a video, well, I presume that she's not going to make individual videos. It will be a because it's from one day. So she did it for 8 hours in one day.
No, never.
Had a queue of people outside,
Never.
one after the other.
Kimmy, you winding me up.
I'm not winding you up.
You winding me up, you silly
I
Billy.
swear, I'm not
We're
winding
not even
you
going
up.
to talk about confessions on this fucking episode. We're going to talk about this.
She literally said lads were queuing for 8 hours. She said that some dads brought their sons and they asked if they could have a go, and she was like, "Yep."
No.
This was on a podcast.
Shut
I don't know
up.
if that's real or not, but that's what
Shut
she
up.
said on a podcast.
No, man.
It's gross.
Each to their own having sex, but that whole concept and the way that's done, there is zero decorum or class or anything. No, that's not cool.
It's just for
Well, it's just for internet fame.
It's just gross. It's just gross.
But people do all sorts of weird and wonderful things to
get famous.
To get famous and be spoken about. Like, I mean, we're quite literally talking about this person on I mean, I don't know the person. I've got no idea. I've just heard about it online, and I'm just giving my opinion on it. I don't know them at all. But yeah, it's worked. You know, if anything, it's worked.
I think she went on a podcast. Do you know GK Barry?
No, maybe I should.
You don't know GK Barry? Oh my God. She's like the queen of podcasts. Anyway,
she
went on her show.
GK Barry, apologies, yeah.
She went on her show. She was supposed to go in I'm a Celebrity, GK Barry. And because she went on her podcast, they're now figuring out whether she can go on I'm a Celebrity.
Really?
Because she didn't agree with what she was doing, but she was speaking quite openly about what she was doing with this woman and with GK Barry. And she didn't like condone it or anything. So now they're like, is this like what we want on the show?
Wow.
So yeah, they're deciding.
Interesting. They'll let Nigel Farage in there, but they won't let a podcast host in there. Weird, right?
A podcaster that didn't have actually anything to do with the story.
Just spoke about it.
She just spoke to her.
Like, it's a very interesting thing, isn't it? I find it very interesting that businesses and organisations can basically tell you what you can and can't do in your own personal time. It's a very interesting concept, isn't it? And
I think it's different if you're wearing their uniform. So I had the same thing with my old job.
I appreciate that. I wasn't.
I had a lanyard on and I told a joke about Jesus, and someone tried to get me fired for that. They just gave me a warning and said, take the lanyard off if you're going to make like dark jokes. I was like, okay.
Isn't it interesting? Like, what I choose to do in my own time is absolutely fuck all to do with anybody else. Absolutely nothing. As long as I'm not committing crimes and I'm not fucking doing anything that is illegal, get fucked. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
How about that? As long as I wake up in the morning and I go to my job respectfully and I perform my job to the best of my ability and I hit my targets and my quotas and my whatever, at the end of the day, I should be able to do as my little heart desires.
Yeah, I agree.
I find it really interesting. Really interesting. And what I'd really love to know, people kind of under the age of 50, how many of them would actually be really fussed? You know, because I get it.
What do you mean?
If you're over the age of 50, and I'm not fucking saying, oh, you're all cunts, but I'm saying, obviously, they mentally think about kind of social media, things like that differently. They're not as open-minded to content creation and social media and things like that because they don't understand it or they don't use it. And I'm not saying they're narrow-minded and all stupid and old. No, I'm not saying that. But they obviously just, they've had a very different experience with it. Whereas people our age and under, to us, like, we could see 10 videos. I could watch a video of somebody saying something about Jesus and I probably wouldn't notice that they're wearing an Asda t-shirt. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be like, puh, that was funny. Scroll. Next one. Oh, they're wearing a fucking Sainsbury's top. Huh, that was funny. Scroll. I don't give a fuck. Isn't it interesting? Like, I literally don't give a fuck. I think that was a great bit of content. Well done. They made a great video. It made me chuckle. Gave me a bit of fucking happiness for 12 seconds of me watching it. Scroll. Do you know what I mean? People fucking read into and look into things so much. Like, fucking chill out, mate. Like, people have their own personal lives outside of work. Get fucked.
Yeah, but then you saying that woman that's doing that, you could say she's got her own personal life. That's what she likes to. No, stop it. Stop fucking taking young boys' virginities.
But like she's not working full time for like Apple and fucking all these dudes on the side.
I think she's probably fucked that up now.
Yeah.
For sure.
But she'll be minted and retired before she's 40. So
I'm fairly
don't really
certain
matter.
I read an article that she's retiring at the end of this year with like 15 or 16 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Where them young boys at? No.
I mean, it's pretty wild, mate. So I follow. That's a fucking lie. I come across this one adult content creator in America. I've got no idea what her name is. She just comes up on my reels, and I think because I watched her videos, fucking hell, she now comes up like every 20 or 30 fucking videos I scroll. Anyway, she showed her earnings on OnlyFans over a period of 3 months. Bear in mind, I think she's 22, 23. She's this tiny little petite thing, obviously wears like tight little leotards, and she basically fucking posts videos of like sports cars and shit and like walking over them and jumping on them and whatever. And in a quarter of a year, I think it said 9.8 million, and that was over 3 months.
Fucking hell. I would retire.
9.8 million over 3 months. And that's why she's buying these sports cars and walking over them and smashing the windows on them, because it's clickbait, isn't it? It's clickbait.
Yeah.
The more people that watch
I know
it,
who you mean now.
yes, this tiny little fucking brunette.
Yeah.
Tiny
I know
little
who
thing.
you mean.
But and that's just one creator that's obviously earning tens of millions a year. There's so many of them out there that are earning tens of millions. This woman who's fucking these 18-year-olds, she's one of them. She's earning millions. She's a very well-known content creator. She must be earning millions.
Oh yeah, she's got to be. Yeah, I think 500,000 for them videos is. I think that's way underestimated.
Oh, for sure.
But surely this is just a massive marketing stunt to bring in a bunch of
100%.
subscribers
Of course it
to
is.
everything
100%.
else that she ever
Yeah,
puts
for sure.
out.
Exactly that.
Because we're chatting about it now, and people will want to know if it's real. And for people to do that, they'll need to go and subscribe.
It's
Yeah.
mate, it's mad.
Even
like,
if you don't want to look at it, even if you're just curious to see if it's
you have
real.
to pay.
Yeah.
It's mad, mate. Like it's
Yeah.
a pretty wild thing. But very, very clever marketing of her. So if anything, well done for being a clever marketer, but I think you're gross and you're pussy. not be cool after that.
I agree. Enjoy your
man.
money.
Yeah, bitterly enjoy your money, you fucker, and enjoy
Go to
retirement.
fucking Mexico. Go away. Just go somewhere else.
Honestly, mate, I'm not gonna lie, right? If I did OnlyFans for 3 years and earned fucking 15 mil, I'd disappear off the face of the earth and you'd never see me ever
If
again.
I earned 2 million in a month, I'd be done. I'd be like, see you later.
Yeah.
I can use that 2 million to do something else and make a shit ton of money that way instead of
Honestly,
getting my flaps out.
it's mad, isn't it? Like, it's mad.
Yeah.
Like, some of these people are earning millions and millions.
This is what I don't get right. She's obviously earned a lot of money before. If she's got that much money already, if she's ready to retire already, she's already earned that money. She does not need to
No.
go out and sleep with all these young people
No.
to get more
But-
money. She doesn't need to.
I mean, example, okay, Elle Brooke. Surely she's a millionaire, multi-millionaire. She must be. Fuck
Yeah.
She must have cleaned up. And now, I appreciate she's still doing OF, isn't she? But
I don't think she does anymore.
yeah, but I'd be very shocked if she is, because now she's obviously in the face of like the social media world, and she's boxing and she's doing something else. But obviously,
She has never ever done anything disgusting or wrong
No,
though. She's
no.
like she's
very
literally just
clean
worked
cut, isn't she?
fucking hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just worked hard. She's
Oh, she did very
actually
well.
incredible.
Yeah, she did very well.
Yeah.
She did very well.
But she's not like been rage bait or anything. Like
No.
I've never seen that.
No, there's a couple of people that do rage bait on like football and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, I'm the biggest supporter of this team."
Football's
and-
pretty harmless.
and
It's
stuff
just
like that.
it's like the woman with the dog. Did you see that one? The
No.
pregnant lady with the dog.
No.
Let's not Yeah.
I don't want to know anything about that.
Yeah, you don't.
No.
You don't. It was on Instagram. It was no.
No, I'm okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe no. Actually, no. I don't even want to know about that. That sounds disgusting. And Mikey McMike Face's face.
You just
tells
don't
me that
want
he
to
doesn't
know.
want to hear about it either. But let's end it because I'm so tired. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm
You look
37.
like you've got hospital socks on.
Oh no, they're just rolled up, mate. That's all.
Mr. Oh, Wednesday's the day that I don't go to the gym, so I've got energy for the pod.
Yeah,
and then he
and
goes
he's
to do fucking 45 minutes of cardio, the cunt.
I did go and do 45 minutes of cardio. I mean, what a fucking weapon. But obviously, I've got a coach, and we've now decided that I'm going to lose 9 kilos.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a lot of weight.
it is. That's 2.5 stone.
Fucking hell, I don't think you need to lose 2.5 stone.
No. So, obviously, I've got a lot of weight just in my stomach. And basically, I'm going to lose weight, obviously, while weight training, and then gain it back in muscle. So, I'm not going to lose weight and just become like a nobody.
Skinny.
Yeah.
Like
I'll never be skinny just because I'm too thick to be skinny. But yeah, I'm basically going to lose weight to become stronger. So that's why I'm tired. And that's why I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do some cardio because maybe that'll help me lose some weight.
Bless you.
I need to get on the weight loss thing. I've put on about 2 stone since quitting vaping.
Nice.
And that's why my boobs look massive.
Massive!
It's just
cannons,
gone
mate.
boobs and belly.
You love it. That's fine. As long as your partner loves it and he's happy. Then
No, it's horrible.
Well, you didn't hear one fucking confession that was anonymously sent in. So if you'd like to hear more of those, please send them in through the link in bio. You can do it through the NGL link. You can do it through the Google form. And you can also do it through WhatsApp. It's all 100% anonymous. Send that shit in. If you'd like to see bonus content, of course, please go and subscribe to the Patreon. There's lots of good stuff on there. Our Scotland trip, lots of shit that we can't talk about on a public platform. So yeah, go and listen to that. But you have been listening to myself, Rick, obviously the amazingly beautiful Kimmi K, and Mikey McMike Face, the pod producer. And of course, we're not going to forget to mention Mikey, the other Mikey, who is the editor. So from all 4 of us tonight, we love you all. Thank you for listening to us divulge into what I actually found quite an interesting topic to speak about. And yeah, until next time, I love you. Goodbye.
Toodle pip.
There you go.
Sweet.
I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too.
Off to bed.